going on, you guys? My name is Daniel and welcome back to the channel where we have everything mirrorless Canon cameras. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so that you never miss out on future content to help you use your mirrorless Canon cameras. In this video, we're going to be going over everything for the Canon R6 video modes that you can want to know, and this is pretty much just a basic walkthrough for everything there. Let's dive into it. Shooting mode, you only have the auto and the manual. Unfortunately, they really wanted people to, just like with the R and the RP, they really wanted people to buy the R5 rather than the R6 for video production. Unfortunately, those are the only two modes that you have. So every time you want to switch from 25, 30, 60, 120, or I guess it's only 100 in that case, you will have to do that manually in here. So let's now go over here, shooting modes, and then, so I am currently on the PAL. Many of the viewers here will be on the NTSC. How you can change that and the reasons that they are different is because we use different grids and the flickering of lights. Yeah, number 2. Video systems, PAL will give you all the 25, 50, and 100, and the NTSC will give you the 23.98, 778, and the 30, 60, and 120. Next up, we go in here, and we go back here. So that's how you set those. The sound recording, I find that this camera does not have a lot of noise in it, so you can boost this up all the way that you want, pretty much as far as you want, and it will still be good, and it won't have all that crackling noise that was very, very common inside the DSLR world. I also use an external mic that has a power source, so that allows me to drop it down even further and get a little bit better audio quality. You can also put this to auto and it will still do a pretty good job. This is attached on the hot shoot, and when you put that mic in, it is right there on the side. Mic in is going to be the white balance. Once again, you have your white balance that you can have with the tungsten, but I think that the white balance is actually a lot better in the video mode than it is for the photography mode, which is apt because the video, as soon as it's baked in there, it's like shooting a low-res JPEG and you can't get it out as much. So having that a lot better is really useful. I use the color picture faithful, and then log settings I currently have off for shooting these YouTube videos, but if I'm shooting anything else, I shoot it with it on, and then the view assist on as well, because otherwise it's really hard to compose and work with it when it is a washed out log looking neutral profile. EOS original, actually I do neutral, EOS neutral, or just neutral color matrix, and then characteristics set to 0 on all of them. However, I do sometimes bump up the strength of it, and that's the only one that I would mess with. And the color spectrum space BT709. The image stabilization mode, you can go into this and it will have the IS mode on, and this is only going to be on if you have a lens that doesn't have internal stabilization built into it. And if you don't have the internal station, if you do have internal stabilization like this 100mm EF, so this one has stabilization built into it. So if the stabilization is on here, then it will also have the IBIS turned on inside the camera. You can then also do the digital IS. I don't recommend doing the digital IS if you're going to be doing any walking or really jittery movements, because this will introduce shake to it, and I just have it on. And there's also an enhanced. This will have a slight crop into your sensor, as that's how they're getting the extra room to stabilize the image, or video, I guess. Then we also can come down here and metering, and when you are shooting in regular video mode, you are shooting 8-bit, and when you are shooting in C-Log, you are shooting 10-bit. Important things to know. Then the zebra settings, you can turn these on, and this will help you to figure out exactly how to expose for skin tones. So I have mine set to about 70 +5 ±5, and that puts it into my skin tone area so that I can know exactly where that is. And then the 100% is just the peaking. And that helps me shoot for C-Log when I do it with myself. And shooting display information, exact same thing as is in for the photography side. So you can go in here, have a grid of your choosing. Histogram brightness I find to be the most useful. However, RGB might also help you when you are trying to figure out if the white balance is correct, because you're not going to be able to fix that quite like you will when you're taking photos. And then the focusing distance, you can have that enabled, always on, or when focusing, and that might help you for compositional reasons and shooting. But for me, I have it disabled because I do more vlogging and videos like this. And then the viewfinder display format, and this is large and small. Most people don't use the viewfinder while they're doing this, so that's not a huge deal. Overheating control, what this will do is it will reduce the frame rate and reduce the quality. If you're shooting in 4K, it'll reduce it down to 1080p while you are not shooting, so that your camera can cool down a little bit more. So in between shots, it will give your camera a little bit of a break. So this is not useful if you're doing a live stream in 4K, but this is useful if you're doing shots to shot, shooting B-roll, and giving your camera a little bit of time to breathe in between everything. Eye detect enabled, AF servo enabled, drag and touch, not very useful for this. And then here, the wonderful thing that you can do with your lenses that are RF is you can change the focusing speeds so that they aren't quite as loud. You can go to movie servo AF speed, and what this will do is AF speed is super fast on this one because I was doing something that required that, but if it is too loud for you, you can slow it down, or if it's having too much trouble recognizing what to focus on, you can also change that down a little bit slower, and that will make it a little bit more sticky. Then as well, what you can do is move AF tracking sensitivity. You can do this if you're having trouble vlogging and it's continuing to drift away from your face and stuff like that. All you have to do is change this to locked on, and it will fix that problem. Or if you want it to switch subjects more quickly, you can put it to a more responsive speed, and that just determines where it finds and if that AF point is going to drift faster. That's the most important things for that run. Ring control is exact same as when taking photos. Then from there, like I said, the next thing is the video systems for PAL and NTSC. I was very confused when I did that earlier in my career, wondering what those two were and why I couldn't access it. Then there's the eco mode, and this will shut down the screen after 2 seconds of not being used, and then after 10 seconds it'll go all the way down. We won't wait for that, but that's what happens. I find that to be totally fine because usually when you're shooting in between, you have to go set stuff up and then it'll shut down then. Power saving modes, I have its display off at 15, but the eco mode will get to it before that. Then you have your viewfinder displays, which you can switch it to always view the back screen, which is probably going to be advantageous for most people since they're not using the viewfinder at all. So I'm going to set that up to OK. Then the brightness and other things in there, which are pretty self-explanatory depending on your situation. The viewfinder now has an auto setting. Okay, now we're going to diverge a little bit from this video, and I'm going to show you one of the biggest mistakes you might be making if you're trying to shoot in slow motion with the Canon R6. And this is because the Canon R6 interprets your slow motion when it writes it into a quarter speed, and that can create some problems while you're trying to edit it. Let's jump over there. Important and why some of you are missing 20% or more of your slow motion. This is going to apply to anybody that's using different frame rates on a Premiere Pro timeline, and specifically for Canon R6 users using 120 frames per second trying to export in 24 frames a second. Well, now I'm going to show you these clips side by side in real time, and then I'm going to slow it down frame by frame to show you what's happening and why it's going wrong. Now there it is in real time. Now I'm going to slow it down and show it to you frame by frame so that you can see exactly what's happening and what's going wrong to make this footage look a lot worse. Now the footage on the left side is properly adjusted to this timeline so that every frame is showing and you're getting 100% of the slow motion. And the right hand side is just dropped into the sequence without actually having the proper editing done to it. So as you can see, this is the very first frame that both the mushrooms come into frame. So frame 1, they're both at the same spot. Frame 2, they're also both at the same spot. But frame 3, the mushroom on the left is in frame 3, but the mushroom on the right is in frame 4. So there's another one. There's an extra frame right in there in the splashes on the left-hand side. But as you can see in slow motion, it just goes smoother on the left-hand side, and it goes a little bit slower. And there's 5 extra frames in every second on the left-hand side. Now this applies whether you're using 60 frames a second or you've shot in 30 and you need it on a 24 time frame. So I'm going to show you the math behind it, and then I'm going to show you the quickest way to edit this footage to look. If you come over here and you go to Modify, Interpret Footage, and then you go to Assume this frame rate, and you go in here and you put your 23.976, hit OK. Now when you drop this in, it's already going to be at that frame rate that it needs to be, and it's going to be exactly what it needs to be without you having to do any of that extra editing that I show you or any of that math. Now the only time that you're going to run into problems is, let's say you shot something in 30 frames a second and you want it to be on a timeline with 24. Then what you're going to have to do, if you actually have something that's shot in 30 frames a second and you want it to be on a 24 frames a second timeline, you go into and you just simply modify it, interpret footage, put it once again down to 23.976, press enter. And when you move this over onto your timeline, what you're going to do is you're going to do the math in reverse. Instead of doing the sequence first, you do the clip. And so you take 30 divided by 24 equals times 100 equals. So you need to move this to 125. So once again, you go into Show Keyframes, Time Mapping, Speed, and move it to 125. Then that will give you your real-time footage that's not missing any of the keyframes and still be the same as the rest of your sequence there. Now this will allow you to convert the 30 frames a second into the 24 frames a second so that your timeline doesn't have any of these weird glitching motions. That was going to help you. Thank you for watching. On this channel we go over everything mirrorless Canon cameras. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're into that. Thank you so much for watching.